Hello to those of you who are as terrified of rhinoplasty surgery as I am. This is a few hours after my operation. What time is it? 1:30. I checked in 7:30 and I left at about 11:30. So technically it's only 2 hours after I just left the office, and I have to say the most gruesome part of it all was the first few days of waiting and counting down the days. That was the worst part. My heart was racing, I couldn't sleep. The night before was really bad because I couldn't drink or eat before 12 midnight, and I literally sat by my tap and drank at least 12 glasses of water and still felt thirsty, because when you're really, really nervous, you somehow just get really, really thirsty, and even that wasn't enough. And so when 12 o'clock hit, I was like, oh God, I can't have any more water, and I almost felt like I was going to go insane and bash my head against the wall. That's how thirsty I felt. But I just listened to some calming music and tried to go to sleep. And then I woke up for my surgery, went there in a cab, filled out the paperwork. The lady was really, really nice. In fact, all the nurses were extremely nice, weren't they? Yeah, and I tell them, I was like, I'm scared. Just so you know, I'm terrified. And then they're like, that's okay. And they gave me my gown, and they gave me some Adamin that dissolved on my tongue. And it worked a little bit because I started cracking jokes afterwards. Dr. Denton was drawing marks on my face, and I was making jokes like, oh yeah, next time someone threatens to punch me in the face, I'm gonna run. And I was kind of like saying, oh no, that's a nasty Facebook photo, don't put that on Facebook. But I was just cracking jokes, and I literally, being on Ativan, my heart was still pounding because I was still scared, but it definitely gave me a sense of humor. And I remember just looking up at being on the operating table, my heart's racing, and looking up at the blue sky and seeing the seagulls, and thinking, oh, it's a beautiful sunny day out there. It's going to be over soon. And then they were putting needles on my arm, and my arm felt really uncomfortable, and the nurse was saying, oh, it's puffy. And I started to get a little bit worried because they give you a test of anesthesia to see if you're allergic to it. When she said it's puffy, I said, am I allergic to it? And she's like, no, apparently the needle wasn't in properly or something. So my arm felt kind of uncomfortable, like it was full of blood and ready to explode. And then the doctor was right above me, and he said, he's like, now it's time for you to go to sleep. And I have a dermatologist who knows Dr. Rivers, and he said, oh, say hi to him before he puts you under. So, did I tell you this part? I'm lying on the operating table, and he's sawing away at my nose, and I'm like, oh, hey, Dr. Rivers said to say hi. He's like, oh, cool. But I was having a conversation with him. Apparently I talked the whole time. He was trying to ask me not to talk, but talking was kind of like soothing my nerves, because I felt like I needed to speak my thoughts, because I don't know, when I'm scared, I like to talk so that it calms me down. I asked him to interfere with the surgery by the fact that I was talking so much, and he said no, but preferably I'm not supposed to talk. And then, yeah, before I know it was over. I didn't expect to be so comprehend so much what was going on, because I could literally feel him pulling pieces of bone out of my nose, and I could feel him sawing and hacking at my nose. But the funny thing about it, it didn't bother me. It felt like my face was like 2 feet away from my face. It didn't feel like he was hacking at my face. And surprisingly enough, as scary as that sounds, that you can hear him hacking at your nose and he's pulling up pieces of bone through your nostril. Scary as that sounds, you don't care at all. You feel so relaxed, you're just kind of like, okay. It doesn't really bother you, and it's weird. There's no pain either. And I prefer it to being knocked out, because being knocked out scares me more. I like to know what's going on around me. You know? And they say usually you don't have that usually you have a memory loss and you forget the surgery. But I didn't. I remembered most of it. I think if I concentrated and told myself to go to sleep, that I would be asleep. But I didn't. I wanted to talk.
Even though she said not to.
I was delusional. Do you think it's a bad thing?
Now even. She said to not be talking a lot. She told me not to talk to you.
Well, I'm talking. Apparently it's what I do. I like to talk. Whatever. Anyways, it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be, and it's not painful in the slightest. I mean, I feel slight twinges of...
It's only because you're on medication.
You
don't feel it.
I feel slight twinges in my nose, but nothing painful, just slight little, like, oh. That felt a little bit sore, but nothing crazy. Anyways, that's day 1, a few hours after, and I suppose you can see the dark coloring around my eye. I look like I did a bad makeup job. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe the doctor's fucking cut open her face. Anyways, so that is I'm a little delirious right now, so I don't know if I should talk anymore, but that's day 1, and trust me, it's not as bad as you think it is. The worst part is when you're trying to sleep the night before, and just before they give you the Ativan, and you're putting on your hospital gown, and when they're showing you the bed, that's the scary part. And anyways, toodles, and I guess the more I post, the more you'll see my beautiful face revealed. Okay, bye-bye.